Hello, I'm Father Sony Sebastian. I'm here at NAMI. We are all here participating in the 18th General Chapter of the Society of the Divine Word. And here I am with the four lay associates who are also part of the 18th General Chapter. This General Chapter focuses and gives a lot of importance to the lay participation and the lay associates of the SVDs. And we have four of them today, and they are Patrice, who is representing the Afram zone of the society. We have Len Uhal from the United States, representing the Panam zone of the society. We have Sophie from Germany, again representing the European zone of the society, and we have Susan from Bombay, or Mumbai, as probably we might call it today. She represents the aspect zone of the society. And the first question that I ask you, four of you, today is the fact that you are here in NAMI, the fact that you are participating in the 18th General Chapter. What is your feeling and what is your impression about this exercise, so to say, this 1 month being together here with all the SVD priests and brothers and be part of this general chapter?
It has been lively. It has been free interaction. It has been actually interesting because even when we meet in the corridors, we greet one another with the Superior General, just openly like that. So I didn't expect to be mingling with priests and maybe Superior General by extension easily like that. So it is, we are all equal. We are the same in this chapter.
First, I heard that we were invited. We said, oh, what a big honor to participate at the general chapter. Then staying here and coming in contact with the big huge crowd of SVD, it was really like the same, coming in contact with them in Steil and St. Augustine. It's always open. After a few minutes you feel at home and you have the impression you know everyone, besides they don't know each other.
Of course, you know everybody.
It's friends.
yeah, we're all friends.
Being here at the chapter has allowed me to meet face-to-face with Divine Word Missionaries that I had emailed for multiple years and had never met. And so that sense of community can be built whether we're close together in one locale or spread out around the world.
I feel good. Something new for me, something extra that I've learned, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be with people whom I'm associated with, whom I work with, and the missions where I go to reach out to the poor. And in addition to that, the spirituality where I am growing in, to be integrated into that. So it's a beautiful experience.
What is it that attracted you to the SVD and to be one of the SVD associates or part of the SVD associate program?
The idea of being able to enculturate into a different culture, be with different people, to be able to spread the good news attracted me to the SVD. The fact that Arnold Janssen's maybe two greatest passions were the Word of God and the people of the world. And to be able to bring those two things together really attracted me. So the fact that now 40 years later, having been in formation for a period of time but feeling called to married life, to be able to partner now with the SVDs in ministry, to be able to work daily alongside Divine Word Missionary brothers and priests to help bring about the kingdom. It's a fascinating experience. It's wonderful. But I think that the main key component was the cross-culturalness, the multicultural communities, the intercultural living that exists in the society. And I see that in our community in the United States, And being here in NAMI at the General Chapter, it's lived out here. I believe we have nearly 45 different nations represented among 150 people. So that's the biggest thing that attracted me to the Divine Word Missionaries.
One SVD father, German, Father Leo Benecke, he was in the Philippines. And there was always contact, and because I was growing up with him as I was a child, I came small letters from him with some informations for a child, and my parents had the really contacts on. But this influenced me because as I was a child there was not so much information about the world as you have it today in TV with documentary films. So as I grew up, it opened my view of the world, and for instance, how they behave in the world. That was they were missionaries. Yes, they spread the good news, but not pressing the others to it, sondern through their life, through their deeds, they were convincing. Also preaching, but not so preaching. You have to be Christ, but they accept the others and also the culture of the others, and that's really, I think, was a great influence in my life and in my family. I think the whole atmosphere in style influenced the whole family and us.
As a matter of fact, nothing attracted me. I came to the SVD parish in the year 2000, and I was a working youth member in the parish. Later on, I was the liturgy coordinator in a year or two, I think in the year 2002. 2003 was the canonization of St. Arnold Jansen, and I was in the liturgy committee. And we were asked to prepare a collage for the Mass when the canonization was happening in Rome. And I was supposed to get a big picture of St. Arnold Jansen from Atmadarshan and get it to the church to place in the collage. And it was in the center of the collage where we had spaced out a place for St. Arnold Jansen's picture. Instead of going to the church, it was lunchtime, so I came home and I kept the picture on the couch and I had my lunch, and I was not married then. And when it was time to go to the church, I looked for the picture and it was not there. And I looked for it and I looked for it and it was not there. And I was angry, I was like frustrated, and I called him a bald man. And I said, "Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, I have to go to the church, I have to give it. Mass is at 5 o'clock. And it was a moment of panic. And I looked for it everywhere. And finally I found it under my couch. And since then, I had a bit of, kind of an anger towards him, because he was lost. He was lost. Little did I realize.
I think
today,
he didn't get lost. I think he was playing hide and seek with you.
Yes.
Because you kept him on top of the couch.
Yes.
How did he get underneath?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. And today, when I think back, I always, think of this little story where I called him a bald man. All my SVD friends know that I call him a bald man because I was anxious, yeah. Little did I know that I would be absorbed by him into his society. Little did I know that I would do so much today for the society at large. Little did I know that I would be integrated into his Trinitarian spirituality and mission. And I feel proud and I feel happy that he chose me when I didn't even know him. I didn't know who he was. I had never heard of SVDs.
In 1992, that is when the parish started. And from there now, we started associating ourselves with SVD missionaries. And the first parish priest, who was Father Dan Anzog from Poland, really impressed me. He actually told us that before you build the church, before you you get out of the after mass, one stone, one sin. One stone, one sin means before you go home, you need to carry one stone to the site where the church was going to be built. So from there, I started to have passion about the SVD, and later on, as it went, I started engaging myself very much in the activities of the church.
My next inquiry to all four of you would be, what do you do? What do you do specifically as an SVD associate or a partner in your own specific place, whether it is in the United States, whether it is in India or in Germany or in Kenya? What do you do as an SVD associate specifically?
I will talk a little bit about how I got into this group. SVD priest, Father Tony Menezes, is my counselor, and he has walked with me from the year 2000 in every walk of my life, up and down. I used to always pose a question to him. I can't see my goal. I can't find, that kind of fulfillment in my life. And he invited me once to this group. It was just a helping group in Atmadarshan, helping others or reaching out to others as volunteers, okay? And I went, I attended one meeting, 2 meetings. I didn't like it because it was a very, it was not meant for me, that's what I thought. And members were older, the thinking was different. Tony told me, be there for a couple of more meetings and see, and then later on you leave. So I continued, and yes, I do not know when I got, kind of associated with the group. Within a year I was elected as a president, and there was no looking back. Yeah, I motivate the group. It is like a family. I changed the whole, the setup, how you look at things on another perspective altogether, not just focused on one area. And the group grew, and today we are 44 members, and it's a beautiful experience having the spirituality and mission going side by side. It is together. Yeah, reaching out to poor, the marginalized, children, the tribals. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So my world is now focused on SVD mission, and of course the spirituality goes with that.
As an SVD associate, what we do is number one, we need to first of all build a good relationship between the priest and the members. That is our main aim. And then number two, what we also have to do is to make sure that we pray, we encourage prayers, especially for the missionaries and other religious group. Number three, we have to visit. We have to visit those who are less fortunate in the society, because sometimes there are those ones who cannot come up to the church, but because of other problems like that. So we normally visit them and go and share with them. Also, we also encourage each other whenever they have weddings. We encourage them to have weddings. We do so when they agree to formalize their marriages. We provide gifts like even Bibles and maybe buying food for the visitors and all that. So beyond that, we also organize conventions. We organize retreats. We have to organize retreats so that in these retreats we can we invite the spiritual director and maybe other speakers who can come and take us through the topics during the convention.
I try to show this vivid spirituality of the SVD and their view to the world and to the others, also to live it and to show it in our parishes at home. There are no SVD parishes. And I think, for instance, in Germany we have really a big problem with parishes is more administration than spirituality. And I've wanted to bring a bit more from this spirituality in the parishes, and with this to show people that there is in our faith a lot of deep things which help us in our daily life, which also brings joy, and so that to encourage them to say that they are Christian, because that's often they say, oh, one can't say it because maybe another one smiles and says, well, he's a bit crazy. But to encourage them to say, that's, if he likes to say I'm crazy, okay, maybe that's not the problem. Show it, do it, and live your faith.
Yeah, part of my ministry today with the Divine Word Missionaries is to do vocation animation, so vocation ministry. I work together with a team of 5 of us in the U.S. provinces, so Canada, the United States, and the Caribbean. So there's 3 SVD priests, a brother, and myself, and we're charged with the ministry of trying to find new young men that are interested in religious life and specifically in missionary ministry. So I usually say, shake the bushes or knock on doors and go to many different places where young people are at and invite and encourage them to consider a missionary religious vocation with the SVDs. So on a day-to-day basis, I'm doing a wide variety of those activities.
Is there any SVD member or members that has influenced you and that led you to be an SVD associate?
Oh, yeah, so many I'm almost embarrassed to name 1 or 2 because there's been so many. When I was in formation at the time, at the East Troy Seminary in East Troy, Wisconsin, Larry Bone and John Beamster, Ken Valois, Tony Clark, just so many Divine Word brothers and priests that were influential in my life. When I later got married, two Divine Word missionaries baptized my 2 of my 3 children, so Ken Anik and Mark Schramm, very close. And when I got married, one of the brothers, Bertie Spitzley, read one of the readings at my wedding. But at the wedding, we had Jim Bergen. Father Jim Bergen was my spiritual director for several years when I was in the philosophy level of formation, and has been a good friend of mine. And he presided at the liturgy for my wife's and mine wedding. And so many of them had a big influence in my life. But if you're asking me to limit to just one, I would say Jim Bergen's humility and his example touched me quite deeply.
I belong to the SVD parish. I'm involved in the church activities. So obviously the church clergy becomes, you know them, they're a part of you. But other than that, after I joined the DDW group, I think SVD priests have become like a family. Not only to me, even with Leo, everybody is my husband, sorry. Even with Leo, my husband, everybody is very well known to us. There are many who have influenced my life. When we travel to missions sometimes on our own, not in the group, we do things on our own too. Leo and I, we travel on our own, and especially when we go to SVD missions, our friends join us. There are a couple of SVD priests who are very good friends in our lives. So it is not just one, but it is many. I mean, there are too many names, so I don't want to name. Yeah.
Okay, so you have been influenced by an SVD or influenced by maybe a few SVD members and even by their mission as you share and express. Now the next question would be, how has this influenced you? How has being part of this SVD ministry and mission and being an SVD associate, how has that influenced your life, your family, and so also the people, the society, the little society that is around you?
Interesting question. So I've been influenced by the SVD, like I said in the first question, about the interculturality. I think the ability to meet people from all around the world. At our formation house in Iowa, we have about 115 students. They come from 25 different countries. And for my family to be able to be part of that community, for my wife and my 3 children, and now my daughter-in-law and my grandchildren, to be able to take them there and visit, to participate in some of the prayer activities and celebrations, so that they can have a world experience of people from all around the world and learn about different cultures, people that think differently and act differently, dress differently and eat different foods, speak different languages. So for the blessing, that's touched me, but also the ability then to share that with my family. And it broadens our understanding of the world. Sometimes, at least in the U.S., people can be very limited in their understanding of people. And I think being involved and touched by the Divine Word Missionary priests and brothers that I know, and having them come to my home for dinner, having some of the students visit, us going there, all this interaction has really broadened my family's understanding of church, of the world, and it invites us to really make a welcoming spirit for everybody. I think at my family, in my home, everybody is welcomed, and I think that's a result of being connected with the SVD for so many years.
First of all, it has made me to understand that with prayer is the most important thing. So with my family, we normally pray with our children. We have it has added an impetus of praying in the evening. That is number one. That I need to pray with my family, and maybe talk together, share together what problems we have and all that, so that at the end of the day we can talk in one voice. Number two, visits. I normally make at least a weekly visit to a house of a less fortunate. When I visit a house of a less fortunate, we go and pray, and then from there you leave something small for them to use, which they appreciate. It might not be much, but it comes out of the heart. So actually, that is what it has made me at least to have, I can say, the faith. Though you cannot measure the faith of somebody, but in me, I'm seeing something that is changing my life. There is something that is changing my life.
It influenced the whole family. It influenced my parents. Therefore, we also supported the SVD within the SVD projects. 12 years ago, therefore my sister and I had a foundation under the roof of the Steiler Bank for supporting projects. It influenced us that we all, I think, during our whole life, looked to try to care for others, not only in mission countries but also at home. That we were respectful to everyone, to foreigners. There again, during my childhood and youth, there weren't very much foreigners living in Germany. They are coming in the 60s, 70s, first from Southern Europe, and later on interculturality was not a big topic in Germany. But also to see the others and meet others open and friendly, that I think was a great influence by the SVD.
Thank you.
It has influenced my life tremendously, and I can say about my husband's life also that it has influenced tremendously. You become more sensitive to the needs of others. You forget about your needs. Your priorities change. Your way of looking at life changes completely. So things have changed, which made me realize that working for the corporate world is not the only thing. You need money, but if there is your spouse who can take care of the finances for us for some time, then maybe you can give more time to the mission. And that's the reason I said I have to give. And one thing, I believe in. God has blessed me with numerous talents and gifts, and He has been so good to me. He has taken care of me even after my parents died. There have been people in my life who have influenced me to live a beautiful life, and it is my turn now. It is my time now to give back to the world what the world has given me, give back to God what God has given me, so that we become happy people.
Okay, and now finally, what do you want to tell others? What do you want to tell others about the SVD Associate Program?
Yeah, first to share this experience, this joy, and then to have, to come to see for yourself how they are, the openness. That's something I think it's very difficult for me to explain what I can really tell. For me, it's very important to show the others the spirituality, to say here they are open. You meet them and.
One thing I'll tell them about Divine Word Missionary is that number one, the missionaries themselves are focused. Number one, they live by the objectives, especially during Sunday mass services. You see, they are preaching. Their preaching is up to date.
Well, in addition to the things I've already talked about, particularly interculturality, bringing the word to other people, I've been blessed to be able to visit different countries and be able to do Bible studies in Jamaica, for example, and break open the word. Those are charisms of our society and what we do. I think the other aspect, though, and it's interculturality, but just the whole idea of community living, to be able to be tied to another group of people. And so I mentioned earlier I had been in formation for 8 years with the society, and when I left, I would say the number one thing I missed about being in formation and being there with the brothers and priests was that community aspect. We can liken a family to that, and there's definitely advantages to having a wife and children. But I think if there's one thing I miss about not having joined the congregation is that community living with brothers from around the world. And I think as lay associates, we begin to have that connection again with community. We're connected with the priests and brothers where we're located, but we're spiritually connected with all of them all around the world in their ministry.
Your life changes when you become a SVD lay associate. You realize many things that you have lost somewhere down the line. You realize things which you have never seen in that perspective before. It is a beautiful place. It's a wonderful place to be in, to be associated with the SVDs, the things they do, the places they work, which I have visited, the remote villages, the tribal villages, the number of children that they are educating, the tribal children, the number of people, the number of families they reach out to, and to top it all, the spirituality that they teach you to grow in union with God and to reach out, to touch the lives of people around you. That's the place where the SVD lay associates live.
This was the 4 SVD associates, our lay partners who are participating in the generalate at the 18th general chapter. You have heard from them. I'm sure this has inspired you. May this inspire a lot of others in our ministry, and let many people come forward so that together we can make this world a better place. We can work towards creating and establishing that kingdom of God, because we know God is love and He guides all of us always. Bless you always. Thank you.